Going on, Tone here, and I'm gonna be jumping a little deeper down a rabbit hole. Now, what I'm gonna be talking about today is a little off subject from gang stalking, but it still bears a lot of similarities and it's to me relevant to gang stalking. Okay, now what I'm gonna be talking about today is the Archons, Hidden Rulers of the Ages. Now, this is a book. You could probably go and find the PDF like I did and download it. Now, what this basically states and what this book is about, it tells us about basically the reptilian race. And why I say that this is important, because I do believe that the Draconian race do exist. Prior to all of this gang stalking, before all this even started happening with me. So now, like I said, I was the one who tried to explain my gang stalking without talking about angels and demons, because I know a lot of people is not ready for that type of conversation. So I try to speak in layman terms. So I try to dumb the conversation down. But I find this very interesting, and I can't help but to speak on it. Now, the Archons, ages. For y'all who don't know what an Archon is servants of the Demiurge, the evil creator god that stands between the human race and a transcendent god through genosis. Now, genosis comes from gnostic. Gnosis is a common Greek noun for knowledge. Okay, now in this book, Archons, Hidden Rulers of the Ages, it speaks about the reptilian race, also known as the Draconians. And what this race specializes in doing is going to take over other planets, what have you not. So now, what I find is it's very interesting that how they speak on how that they actually was the ones who created men, but we still was born with a spark. So what it is they created us like a science project in a petri dish, and they just left us here while they still was fighting their great war. So when they came back and arrived and landed back here, and they're still here now, we have became like more consciously aware. What they call Saturn-Moon Matrix. Am I saying that right? Yep. Okay, now I find it very strange that this race of aliens, like their strongest suit is solely technology, which us today in the real world, you know that we live in the era of technology. But what's very fascinating about this is how they speak about this hive mind. So what it is now, yeah, so it's supposed to be visible to the human sight and technology, and the genetic engineering of the human mind, body, computer, locked humans. Fascinating, right? And to that frequency via DNA and a reptilian brain. And what it's saying is one way to override the matrix and waking up is by consciousness, being consciousness aware of what's going on. So having a higher consciousness actually is the reason why a lot of us is broken free from the matrix, and we're targeted individuals now. And it speaks on how they maintain humanity in a low vibrational state to imprison their perception in the matrix. It goes on to state the plasma field within our holographic reality acts like a plasma screen on which we watch the picture show or appear to, and how it's an expression like everything of the decoded waveform information on how we perceive and like take things If I haven't said it, just say that the reality we being fed is encoded with perceptions and experiences that cause people to transmit low vibrational emotional energy that both feeds the reptilian alliance and in many ways help to power the system. So basically, the more consciously aware people become, the weakened they are, like the weakened they become. So that's why the government really mock us as targeted individuals. That's why they have been doing this before the hands of time. People who try to enlighten other people and get them to wake up, notice how they become killed, like your late great John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, Martin Luther, Michael Jackson, Prince, and the list goes on. The list goes on. So basically what it is they're saying that our higher ups, the elites and the Freemasons, have first round knowledge that this exists. Do y'all know that Saturn is actually called the all-seeing eye? Saturn is actually called the all-seeing eye. So we have this Saturn-Moon Matrix, and a lot of scientists say on how, well, we should know this as humans, how the moon affects our mood and so on and so forth. The moon, they say, is actually a satellite beacon from the reptilian race. And that's why sometimes during the day, you can see the moon and the sun at the same exact time. It goes on to say that one of the main chief ways that the Matrix connect with us is, not surprisingly, they messing with my camcorder. It's through the reptilian brain, and this helps lock us into the reptilian alliance control system, which is the hive mind, people. The hive mind. The reptilians have a hive mind communication system, which the Matrix connect with. And they say how the center of this is their version of how it connects to their female queen who operates and run the hive mind in certain hybrid bloodlines like the royal family. The Illuminati reptilian hybrid bloodlines are agents of the Matrix within. It goes on to say the moon is a satellite that was constructed. It was anchored outside of Earth's atmosphere for aeons as a meditative monitoring device, a supercomputer, or the eye in the sky. And so what this does is what we go through every day. It monitors our everyday activity, see who's waking up from the Matrix. So the minute we wake up from the Matrix and the system catch on that we're awoken from the Matrix, we become targets of the Matrix. They deem people like us as threats because we're not connected to the hive mind anymore. So they look to dispose us and feed off our energy and our essence. I find that very unique, just how much it relates to being a targeted individual, because here we have right now what we're experiencing with hidden with the dudes, the V2K and what have you not. And we all know that these people operate on a hive mind. So what we're doing is, or the higher ups, they're actually getting their power and their technology from these beings. It is very weird. I've asked everybody to like go and read this, bro, because it is deep. And when I say it's right on point, bro, it talks about everything we going through right now as a race, bro. And it do. Why do you think look, Saturn is also known as the all-seeing eye. Why do you think we have the all-seeing eye on our currency, on the back of a dollar bill in the United States? Why do you think the all-seeing eye is on Masonic lodges, bro? Like, we know that these people use signs and symbols. Before language was created back in the Egyptian times, their only form of communication was signs and symbols. That's where hieroglyphics came from. So all of this really started from the Golden Age. All of this really started from the Golden Age. And the more people wake up, the weaker the system gets. The more weaker the hive mind gets, bro. That's why we are such threats to them. Just like the movie Matrix, bro. Just like the movie Matrix, bro. So I believe that this is not only a spiritual war, but I believe there's a galactical war going on as well, bro. And that's true. I believe that wholeheartedly. But like I said, it's hard for us to commute with people. I mean, to converse with people who still plugged into the matrix to convince them what we are actually going through is facts instead of fiction. So when it comes to me explaining my situation and my targeting, I don't get into stuff like this. I really don't. I speak to them on a lower vibrational plane, in more layman's terms though. But I'm gonna be doing more reading on this, and I'm gonna do a more better put together video on this. Until then, everybody be safe. Love you all.